Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers, and welcome to Heather's Book Review, my channel. If you are new here, I am Heather, and I mainly review thrillers like I'm going to be doing today. However, the occasional very hyped up fiction novel will make it to my TBR stack sometimes. I just reviewed Long Bright River, which is a suspense novel. It's amazing, and I'm going to link that review below if you're interested. But today I am going to be reviewing The New Husband. It is a novel written by d.j.palmer. This is a copyright, I believe. Like, this just came out, you guys. This is a 2020 copyright. Don't know the month, but pretty sure it's brand spanking new. I found out about it via Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just at Heather's Book Review. Super simple. But yes, so The New Husband, let's start chatting about it. Does anybody else feel like this is just the year of domestic thrillers? That is exactly what The New Husband is. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a non-spoiler review and premise of the story right now. So The New Husband is about a family. The wife is Nina, the husband is Glenn, and they have two kids, Maggie and Connor, who are both in high school. Connor's a little bit older, but I think they're like junior and a sophomore. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. And one day, Glenn, the husband, is like, you know what? I'm gonna go fishing. He goes fishing and he never comes home. So the police come and knock on the door, and Nina talks to them. And they say, listen, we found the boat that your husband Glenn was fishing on. There was a ton of blood. It looked like a crime scene, but no body. So 2 years go by. There is no body found. Like I said, they had the blood there, but Glenn was never found. So Nina moves on, and she moves on. She moves on with a guy named Simon, who conveniently teaches at the same high school that Maggie and Connor attend. So Simon, gets his way into Nina's life, and their dog Daisy, they have a lab, Daisy, who goes missing, and Simon brings Daisy home. And Nina's like, oh, I remember you. We met at the DARE campaign a couple years ago. And Simon's like, yeah, and they start dating, and Maggie, the daughter, cannot stand Simon. And Simon has these very weird things about him. He knows everything about Nina, her favorite meal, what she likes to do for fun, like all of this information that normally would take a long time to figure out about a person. But Simon just knows them. And Maggie just thinks he's it's just like a bit, she's like, isn't this a bit odd to you? Like, dad goes missing or is murdered. Simon comes into our lives, and the mom's like, you're just being paranoid. I get it. You miss your dad, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. So Maggie starts to notice some things that are a bit odd. Like, not only does Simon know all of this information, sorry, one of my eyelashes keeps sticking to like the bottom ones. So he knows all this information, but also he seems to just be just like a little much. Like, everything has to go Simon's way, or it's like this big deal. So this is very much a fast-paced thriller. You are following along with Nina and Maggie. The story is told between Nina and her daughter Maggie's point of view, and you are finding out like what happened to Glenn, and you're trying to find the truth with that, and you're trying to investigate in Simon a little bit more, and will Nina listen to her daughter, or will she just be super infatuated with this wonderful man that came at the perfect time, that knows everything about her? And it's pretty good. It is a fast-paced story for sure. It's a nail biter. That's exactly how I would explain the story. You're like sitting there the whole time. You're like, what's going to happen? I need to know. I read it relatively quickly. I do believe I think it's around 373 pages. So, which is like a normal amount for me. I don't really read sorry. I don't really read very long books because they just don't appeal to me as much. But yeah, this was like the perfect length. I actually like this cover too, that really pretty little lilac, or no, just a purple flower. But I think the cover is really pretty. And yeah, so now I'm going to tell you what I rated the book. Okay, so for my personal rating, I am going to give this book an 8 out of 10. I found a few little things about the novel that kind of just annoyed me. The first one is, like I said, Maggie, the teenager. She is one of the main point of views in the story. And I felt like trying to write from a teenager perspective for this author was challenging in the sense that like it just seemed too much. Like the wording and like just like what the author would assume like an average teenager would talk like, and it just seemed kind of like cringy at times. I bookmarked an example here, so I'm going to read it so you guys can get like an idea. So this is from Maggie's point of view, early on too, so I'm not spoiling anything. She goes, "You moved me in with him, and for that you'll have to die alone and lonely. Sorry, I'm not sorry." She's thinking about this. She's not actually saying this. Okay, that's not true. That's my secret revenge wish, but I'd never ever do that to my mom. I love my mom. Love her with a cap L. Like not even capital, just like cap L. And I'm like, I don't know. Do teenagers talk like this? I don't think so. I didn't talk like that when I was a teenager, but it seemed a little forced. And like, I do appreciate the author wanting to write from different age perspectives, because I don't see that a whole lot, which was, something that was new and refreshing. But on this, the flip side, I was kind of like, this isn't how like anybody talks. And the other thing that was just a little bit of a flaw for me, without spoiling the concept or anything, was just like, I feel like the concept of the story is something that is like very been there, done that before. I didn't really think it was anything super unique. Just the concept of like dating someone new and the kids not liking the new person, and, are they a good person? It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a very been there, done there concept with not only books, but also movies. So I would have, appreciated maybe like a few more twists or something along the way. But like I said, overall, it is a good story. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. It was engaging. It was fast paced. And yeah, I did enjoy it. Okay, so whenever I read a book, I always have my notes open on my phone, and I just type things that I know that I'm going to want to talk about in my reviews when I film later. But what's interesting is for this book, I broke it up into 2 sections. I did a what if section, like what if this is actually what's going on? And then I also did a gasp section. And I'm just going to walk you through each of those to see if you guys had the same thoughts that I did. So my first what if moment, and I have them written down here, so don't mind me, but I'm going to be glancing down there. So I said, what if Simon was obsessed with Nina since he met her at like the DARE program, and he had been plotting all of this time to like weasel his way into her life. And that is exactly what had happened. And that is just so crazy, because I got that vibe very early on that he was just like a nutcase, and I thought that was like super funny that I wrote that down. I also thought, I'm like, it's weird that Simon didn't have any friends. I feel like that was like a telltale sign, like in the beginning of the book, that something's off with him, because like Nina would try and go see her group of girlfriends all the time, but Simon never was like, oh, well, I'm going to go meet up with so-and-so. And I'm like, what if he's going to alienate her from all of her friends so he can have that like control piece of her life, because he always has to be in control of everything. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, so gasp moments I had while reading the book. The very first one was the deathly stare filled with any sort of emotion and empathy when Simon looked at Maggie like that, when he told her to turn off the TV and she didn't, I was like, oof, this guy is crazy. I know he is. I know that he is. Let's see. Oh, when Nina got the job and he took that positive moment in Nina's life, her getting a job, finally getting that sense of like power back for her. And he was like, oh, well, I planned this random vacation, and like made her feel like guilty about it. And I hated that part, because it was like he was taking a moment that should have been all about Nina and made it all about himself. And I know he was not supposed to be a likable character, but I don't know. As the story went on, I just could not stand him. My last thing was that when she got the job and he was like trying to make up for it and was like, oh, look, I bought you this. I think it was like a really nice Coach bag. I bought you this really nice Coach bag that like I noticed you were eyeing, all those months ago. I was like, he probably purchased that Coach bag when he knew that she liked it, so he could like use it in some sort of like bribing, manipulative moment in, the future. And that's exactly what he did with that. So yeah, those are just all of my thoughts on The New Husband. I liked it. It was nail biting. It was fast paced. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this book, or if you've read anything else by this author. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.